Hey, Love Expanded, day 147 here. And I want to talk about, I realize I do the same thing every single time. If you're actually listening to these in succession, I probably sound like a broken record at the beginning of every one of my videos. But today we're talking about safety. And so I can create a safe space for myself and just be myself and show up how I'm showing up. All jokes aside, even though I'm joking with myself, so safety is this huge thing within relationships. It's a huge thing within ourselves. And when we are able to have safety within ourselves, what happens physiologically is that we relax, we calm down, and then I'm able to grow instead of always just protect. Then instead of always just being on the defense, I'm kind of, if you think of it in sports, on the offense, I'm moving forward. I'm progressing, on the field, so to speak. I don't know anything about football, FYI. And then in our relationships, it's the same thing. When I'm always protecting myself, the relationship's not going to go anywhere. I can be protected and maybe safe, but if I always feel this badgering, I'm going to be in this retractive mode instead of a progressive forward mode of growth and collaboration. So there's two different parts of safety that I want to talk about today. There's internal safety and then there's external safety. And the reason I'm taking them apart is because they are these two separate things and they interact within your life in two separate ways. Meaning that if I am in a relationship and the relationship is inherently safe, it's an emotionally safe environment, but I do not feel safe within myself, I'm not going to feel safe. And nothing that this external person does is going to make me feel safe. I'm always going to have this feeling that I'm not safe. And this does happen in relationships, and it takes a long, long time for that person to, unless they're dealing with their internal feelings of not being safe, it's going to take a long time for them to trust that person externally. And what that means is they get to, oh, there's someone at the door. I better go get that in a second. Just a minute. I'm making a video, by the way. Okay. What it means is that for me to have that internal safety, I get to work on myself. I get to see what within myself is not making me feel safe. And usually what it is that I'm still operating on old operating systems from a child where I'm keeping people out instead of allowing myself to work through those emotions and then create boundaries in a different way that still allows people in for me to be safe. Now, in a relationship, how this works is that hi. My mojo is disturbed. In a relationship where there's someone else involved, if I don't feel safe because I'm not accepted in the relationship, or I'm being threatened, or I'm being hurt in any way, or it could be as simple as my feelings are not validated, and that I don't feel like my partner has my best interest at hand. I feel like my partner's selfish and only has their best interest at hand. I'm also not going to feel safe within this relationship. So the two things have to be at play here. The awesome thing is that if you're wanting to, it doesn't matter where you are right now. That is inconsequential. In fact, it's important to know where you are because we're all somewhere on the scale. And as humans, this growth potential we have inside of us, we start from wherever we are. And so when you're in a relationship and you want to create this new union, you can build safety into the relationship. And you can release all the old stuff, and that you can go forward from a new place and establish a new safety, and you can be accountable and reliable and start being reliable, being your word. You can start supporting your partner and create this collaborative environment. And then once you're both working towards this goal and you're both wanting to build and grow and nurture the relationship, you can even assist each other to work on those internal feelings of not being safe and allow each other to process their feelings. Because if externally I'm not okay, it's not okay for me to feel my feelings. If it's not okay for me to cry and I'm going to get badgered, how on earth am I going to be able to process those internal feelings? Because it's not okay out here. So when it becomes okay out here, it can become okay within. And if you're in this situation, boundaries are good. So for instance, I have this example of women. If you don't feel safe with women, this is an internal thing, for instance. Because say you had a difficult relationship with your mother. Then what's going to happen is to keep yourself safe, you're protecting yourself, and this is the immature way, right? When I say immature, it's just because it's not developed yet. It's the way we learned as a child, in a child state. So I'm not saying that you're an immature person. I'm saying it's just an undeveloped mechanism of protection and safety. So what we're doing is we're upgrading the mechanism of protection and safety so that we can do it in a healthy way that allows opportunities and good feelings and the good flow of energy inside of your life, so you can be safe and protected with a good flow of energy. So instead of saying, oh, women are not safe, so now I'm going to close myself off, and when I do that, what I'm energetically doing is I'm sending these vibes to women, and then how are they going to respond to me? They're going to respond in the same way that they're going to respond in a way that pulls back and is not open and inclusive in that relationship. So when I can upgrade my operating system and say, well, maybe I was hurt in the past by women, but instead I can have discernment. I can open the space and I can let safe women in. And maybe not all women are this way, and I can first heal the part within myself, my own feminine, that is wounded and needs to be heard and nurtured, and I can start nurturing myself. And then when I see another woman, I will notice in her that, oh, maybe she's not bad, and I will say, well, maybe she feels hurt too. And when I start nurturing myself, I can start nurturing the woman around me, and then that space opens for growth and collaboration. That's a lot. I felt like I spoke really, really quick. But safety is so important, so powerful. And you have to start with yourself. If you're not in a relationship, that's fine. Start with yourself and start assessing where in your life you don't feel safe, how you can create and upgrade those safety mechanisms, and also open and relax so that you can grow. And if you're in a relationship, get on the same page. And if you can't get on the same page and you are in a relationship that you're being badgered and you're not accepted and you're judged and you can't be yourself, that's not a healthy relationship to be in. And sometimes you just have to know that that's actually not healthy. It's not okay. It's not actually the norm, which, as someone who's in a relationship like that a lot, I didn't know that that wasn't the norm. I just thought that that's how it was. But it's not. So consent is a thing, no matter if you're in a relationship, any sort of relationship. And it's not just like touch consent. It's boundaries. So safety is created by boundaries. And the stronger you feel within and the more you're connected to your worthiness and that you are actually a person of worth and that you actually do deserve better, and not just that, but it's possible to get something better, you can start establishing those boundaries. And by establishing the boundaries, it creates a new interaction with a person, and you do have to be strong to be able to withstand what happens is when I change, then the whole dynamic changes, and if the dynamic changes, change makes people upset sometimes. And if it was already a relationship where they weren't very nice, they might be not nice even more. So that having that strength, but you can do it. And sometimes the answer is to leave the relationship, but not always. Sometimes it's just bringing things to the forefront and saying, hey, this isn't working for each of us and we really want to make it work. Let's make it work. So that's a lot of information on safety. It's not that complicated, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot of intricacies, especially when you're merging the personal safety and the external safety with each other. So have a beautiful, beautiful day. Love, love, love me, and love, love, love you, and go love, love, love everyone else in your world. Mwah. Bye.